What did your friend do that accidentally turned you on? Story 1. Looked up from her work very casually and smiled at me. No teeth, little side smile. Her smile had reached her eyes. I said, "What?" absently. And she said, "Nothing, just enjoying you." Could have fallen in love right then. Story 2. Back in college, I was at the sink in my room shaving. A friend of mine came in. Our front door was open all the time. She noticed where I was, came in to talk, and ended up watching me. We made eye contact in the mirror a couple of times. Let me tell you, being that distracted while using a razor can be very dangerous. Story 3. I have long hair for a guy. She asked me if she could braid it. She messed up and ran her fingers through my hair to entangle it. Maybe ran her hands through my hair a bit too much and said my hair was soft. Story 4. I was working and I couldn't reach the top shelf on my tiptoes. Without asking, he stretched up, just grabbed the item with full eye contact. I don't know. There was something really hot about that. Story 5. My friend offered to give me some pointers at the driving range so I would feel more comfortable at a work function. I had never swung a golf club in my life. After about 30 minutes trying to verbally describe what I was doing wrong and how to fix it, he finally put his hands on my hips and moved them correctly. I could tell he was intentionally trying not to make it sexual, but sploosh anyway. Story 6. His voice would get lower and sexier whenever he relaxed and rumbled about something he found interesting. Could listen to that for hours. And I have. Story 7. A friend of mine, while in university, asked me to take pictures of her smiling because she said she couldn't do it by herself without feeling weird. I said, "Sure," but I asked her, "Why me?" She said she knew I could make her smile and laugh easier than anyone else she knew. Took about 20 pictures of her after cracking a few jokes to get her to laugh, and it was her laugh specifically that got my motor running. Had to cross my legs and just chat with her for a while before my erection went down. Still have the pictures on my old phone, I think. Story 8. After dinner, we walked to the subway. We were laughing while going down the stairs. She said something to annoy me and jumped the last two steps. She turned around to laugh, and I melted. It was like a movie, almost in slow motion. Story 9. Me and my roommate at the time got along very well with this one girl. One day, she came to our apartment to play some video games. It was getting late, my roommate had already gone to sleep. I was playing Dear Esther and she was watching next to me. All of a sudden, she laid her head on my shoulder. I developed a major crush just from that. 8 years later, when I told her about that, she just said sheepishly that she was just tired and there wasn't any attention. Ha! Sucks to be her. She's my wife now. Story 10. Was complaining about my posture to my friend. She was like, "Oh, I learned this trick to help my posture. Let me show you." And she grabbed me by the shoulders and lightly pushed me against the wall. Then she stepped back and said, "Now walk forward while keeping your shoulders back," or something. I don't remember. It only lasted a few seconds, but I swear I didn't breathe the whole time. Story 11. Held my hand after a long ride when we took a break because it was cold and rubbed it to make it warm. Story 12. She sent me a Snapchat while sitting in her car on a cold day. She blew gently out of her mouth to show her breath turning into fog and then kind of slightly smirked after. I watched it on loop probably 100 times before it disappeared forever. Something about it was so cheeky or something. I don't know how to explain it, but it's burned into my brain. A few friends bailed on a Disneyland trip, so it was just this girl and myself. And for some reason, we still went. We weren't close, and one of my boys was into her at the time. Anyway, we were in line for Matterhorn, and if you know, that seating is front to back, not side to side. We couldn't each get our own car, so we had to sit together. Her in front of me and between my legs. If you know, Matterhorn is the bumpiest ride in Disneyland. Even my jeans couldn't hide it when she was bouncing up and down, in and out of my lap. The look she gave me over her shoulder with a smirk, I'll never forget it. Holy S, this brought back a memory. Story 14. Spent a full semester as a freshman in a pretty tight friend group. Few girls, few guys. Never had any tension or eye for any of them. At the end of the semester, one of the girls invited a few of us to her room for a study session, since she was lucky enough to not have a roommate. I arrived first, just when she was getting back from a team practice from some sport. I can't remember which. Before anyone else gets there, without warning, she tears off her uniform down to a sports bra and shorts so she can put on clean tee and pants. Then, before anyone else gets there, without warning, she tears off her uniform down to a sports bra and shorts so she can put on a clean tee and pants. Then she got straight into a book. I went a year without eyes for her, but that was close to the hottest anyone has ever looked to me. Hey, you made it until here! Thank you for staying. If you liked the video so far, give a huge hug to the like button and subscribe to the channel. This helps me know that I'm doing something right and that will push me to keep going. Back to the stories. Story 15. Our class wrote an exam. One of my female friends finished earlier than me and had to give her already finished exam to the teacher. I sat in front of her, and when she walked by me, I smelled a lovely perfume, and she whispered to me in a calm and kind voice, "Happy birthday." Boy, I couldn't concentrate on the exam anymore. Story 16. My friend and I often argued over who was taller. Our licenses listed the same height, but we insisted that we were actually slightly taller than the other. Often, we would stand back to back and try to force our friends to declare the tallest, but consensus was never achieved. Once, during a party at his place, we ended up alone in the basement for a few minutes, jokingly arguing again about who was taller. We got in each other's faces playfully to compare heights since no one was there to judge, and I don't know, just the playfulness and proximity gave me an electric zing that I wasn't expecting. We remained friends, attended college in different states, and this didn't come up until after I graduated and we got a chance to reconnect. After a casual brunch turned into a 24-hour long date, he mentioned feeling that first zing all those years ago too. He proposed in October, and I said yes. Story 17. He tucked my hair behind my ears while I was working on a project and couldn't do it myself due to the materials. It was such a simple gesture, but it was so gentle, and we made direct eye contact when I saw his arm reach out. It was just so intimate. Unfortunately, we don't talk anymore, but I still think about that every now and then. It still makes me blush. I hope he's having a good day, wherever he is. Story 18. We hugged after not seeing each other in like 6 months. It was a different kind of hug. He never hugged me like that before this day, and it made me feel all the feels. We're married now, with baby number 2 on the way. Story 19. She wanted to tell me something in private, so she leaned over and whispered in my ear. Flag went to full attention because people whispering in or touching my ears is a massive turn on. Story 20. In August, we were in a garage playing music and he was kneeling by the wall picking the next song. I did a nice Slavic squat next to him and I said something that must have been a bit sad because he looked up and just put his hand in the middle of my back. Turns out he had a crush on me for about 9 years, which was the same amount of time I'd had a crush on him. We're dating now. Story 21. She showed me her art, and there were some artistic and intimate nudes she drew. They were gorgeous, but what really got me was when she said they were her body. Story 22. We were at work, and he texted me from the other room, "Come." So when I came into the room, I said, "What am I, a dog?" He said, "Good girl." And I had no idea I was into that. He totally picked up on how much it affected me. I plan to officially ask him out next week. Story 23. We were at a big event walking around. Every time she wanted to point something out to me, she would lightly graze the back of my arm with her nails. It was so gentle. It made me look at her and want to kiss her every time. I had basically been in love with her since I met her. I had no idea she was interested in me until she cuddled into me after the event. We're dating now. Story 24. When my college was playing one of those campus-wide zombie apocalypse tag games, she chased me around as a zombie and tackled and pinned me. Anyway, now we're married. Story 25. Literally, our knees touched when he had scooted over in his office chair to show me how to do something. I was miserable in the relationship I was in, and it was like I'd been struck by lightning. We've been together nearly 3 years now.